Good evening, Club Cult. I'm now wondering, having with speculations. OBS needs an update. I wonder if that's why my volume is taking a double toggle. I almost just came in muted, and I caught it. I'm very proud. Why is that open twice? Unnecessary conduct. Okay. Pull this out of purgatory. We have a couple of stars to make. And then we're gonna go around the world with the zoo, tour around with the zoo. I don't know. We're gonna stop by and say hi to just about everybody. Take care of the bee-buzz. We're Z-milfing until further notice. It is mostly beyond my control. And that's okay. Because kiddos and puppies. Chauncey is curled up in his blanket right now. And he's very cute. I got his favorite yellow blanket out. It's a really ugly, like, mustard yellow blanket that was on clearance at Target. But it has, like, a fancy look to it. So it's his fancy, ugly blanket. And we love that for him. He's so cute wrapped up in it. He has such an awkward barrel chest. I should just grab a pair of his jammies. Because those fit him well. But they're not, like, for outside. Pibby's still wearing her sweater inside, but Chauncey can't really wear his sweater inside because it falls down on him. He has such an awkward build. Don't know how else to describe. Like, I love him and I think he's the most handsome boy. But he just is awkward shaped. And that's not his fault. I love him anyway. Boy, are you gonna help me make stars? Zeke is hilarious. I need to bring in the kangaroo pouch hoodie into here. I was wearing one of my most ginormous hoodies when I was prepping for stream, and he curled up on my lap, and I had to get up to get something, so I just scooped him in my hoodie, and he went along with it. He doesn't like being held, but he did like being kangarooed. So we shall have to observe that further. Maybe we'll have to get another kangaroo hoodie. One just special for Zeke. He might be a little too big for the other one. The other one is like kitten sized, but it was for little Kid the cat. And he's just a little guy. I laugh now for thinking he was so small for so long. Now he's like average size compared to everyone else. Oh, I also don't know why my brain decided to write this one in pen when I wanted to do them in Sharpie. It's just special, it gets bold. That's better. Kind of. It counts. Wait, what are you doing? What are you deciding? He's teasing if he's gonna jump up into the madness or not. And you boys are just being very good. Gunther. Sometimes Gunther, like, falls asleep from setting up. I don't know how to, like, describe that. So his body is, like, still perched, but then his head is just... Chong does that, but, like, face first into blankets. Gunther just hangs his head like a cowboy falling asleep on his horse. I'm so silly. Went out into the world today, and Lord, it is cold. Getting even colder tonight. I'm so done with cold. We got more snow too. But not too terribly, thankfully. Didn't have to dig the car out, just had to clean it off. Kind of feel like the snow is compensating for all the rain we lacked over the summer. Because it was not a wet summer, it was a dry summer. Now it's a snowy winter. Welcome, Cytogenics. I did go out in the world on purpose. I wanted to get a new broom for just the baby's room, and then Daisy keeps undignifying herself in the litter box, and she did not like being put in the bathtub last night. So I wanted to grab like a Rubbermaid bin to try and do like dunk baths in the room, because that, like, I traumatized her. We attempted a bath. We did not get a bath. It was too scary. I had to go to PetSmart for kitty food or kitten food and litter. Because kitten food is the only stuff I haven't put on auto ship. And I'm not going to ask Chewy to auto ship the giant things of, like, this is hard enough to carry in from the house 2 things every 10 to 14 days. I'm not going to have Chewy ship this. I still haven't found a better litter solution that's not going to kill the landfills. Them things are heavy. Oh, I got recognized at PetSmart, which was interesting. I always get recognized when I look like shit. I don't understand it. Like, do I look the same with no makeup versus makeup? And I just... Am I wasting my time putting my face on? She must have been very undignified to involve the tub. Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to protect her, her dignity, but, like, she's shitting her pants. she be pooping and it be all in her floof now. And, yeah. I was going to set up for actually sleep stream last night, and then I thought better of it, like, in with the babies. I was like, no, what if, I don't know, what if someone's not feeling good, or what if there's an emergency? Like, the last thing I want to have to do is try and turn off stream or whatever. And sure enough, around 4 a.m., she pooped and pooped herself. So I'm, like, exhausted trying to figure out how to navigate all of this. I have a waterless, or not waterless, yes, waterless? Dry shampoo that's foam. You don't have to rinse it off. But I wasn't sure if it was kitten safe, and I had left my phone in the room and just, So we have that if we need it. We have the bucket, or the container if we need it. I don't know. I'll probably bring the bucket in there later just so they can start jumping around into it and try and not be so scared of it, because I'm sure it's going to be a traumatic experience no matter what. Oh, I gotta remember to bring some towels up too if we need it. Hasn't been too bad today. It's been manageable with wipes, but I don't want her to be dirty and uncomfy. Poor baby. I got recognized at Petco, or at PetSmart. The cashier recognized me. I was wearing the pants that I was wearing on stream last night, that I've worn on stream before, the pink and black ones. I was like, I like those pants. They have Harley Quinn vibes. Chat it up. So PetSmart guy, hi. Thank you for not asking for a picture when I looked like shit, because I went out in my sleepy ponytail. Thank you. I appreciate that. It was nice about it, at least. It's just awkward. I'm so awkward. I was like, yeah, my pants are warm. It's nice. If you don't catch me in, like, my specific circumstances, like online or at convention, I don't know how to human. I just don't. It's like talking to some mix of, like, a brick wall and your dad. Like, I can't human. Don't human. Poor Daisy pants, though. Oh, that's fuzzy tape. That's no tape. No tape. So now my regular PetSmart has a Club Coltian, potentially. Why? Ah! The tape just does not want to be used tonight. It says, give me a break. I've had enough of you my entire life. My dad always used to joke that he should have bought stock in Scotch tape and Band-Aids. And he's probably right. put up our stars. Zeke, you're very cute. Meow. Before stream ends tonight, I want to show you guys what he does now. It's so cute. He's a little kangaroo baby. Grab towels, and actually I should just open the notes app in here and make myself my list. What's new in notes? Do I have any notes in this phone? That one I know. I have a therapist message that I drafted in here from 2023. But it starts with a stream note. So it must have been a combined list. It says set up for movie night and then it's a couple paragraphs of something I'm pretty sure I probably sent to my therapist. Or I just vented to myself. I phone journaled. One of the two. Set up for movie night and feelings. Okay. The other one's just my OF copy pasta. Tip menu, easy. Humans are always gonna need band-aids. Pff, not if you're my dad. You're tough. Tough. You just put a paper towel on that and hold it there for however many hours. Do you think the use for tape has gone down with all the digital stuff? Oh, definitely. I would say very much so. And a lot more like crafty kits exist versus needing to like DIY all the pieces yourself and use tape. Grab towels to go in the scary laundry room. It's actually not too scary right now. It's a little scary. I organized it, but it's a little bit disorganized now because of volume of laundry. Grab towels. What was the other one I said? Kangaroo hoodie. Oh, and I need to fill my vitamins. I'll forget that. Okay. I think that's about it. DIY is better, improves critical thinking. Yes. That's why we do so much DIY on stream. That's why we randomly take apart doors. Because I'm sharpening my critical thinking skills. Retightening my neurons. Getting them all flying together like Jimmy Neutron Brain. Alright, I want a couple more sips of coffee. And then, Voyevnik. We go on our way. We're gonna go see Tank. We're gonna go see Mr. Munster. It's like driving through like the Festival of Lights, but it's the Festival of the Zoo. We might stop and give Ringo and Diesel a smooch if I feel like putting covers on my feet. And see all the other buddies, whoever wants to say hi. And then we'll bop in with the Bebas, and I'll want to put different shorts on when we're done in there. So I don't bring germs in here. Whatever the babies have going on, the main zoo kitties now have going on. The litter box is reflecting. The boys are good. Mom is good. So if they contracted at the same time, then Void just fought it off. I don't know. But now the main zoo, not Munster, not Tank, the mean zoo kitties be pooping their pants a little bit. So whenever I find out what the babies have going on, hopefully by Tuesday, if not Wednesday, if not Thursday, if not Friday, I'll have to weigh everyone and get meds for them too. No fun. It isn't an interesting timeline in life here. Having like flashbacks to when we all had Giardia. That was interesting. So I had to weigh everyone for that one. And bring in a big list. But the list was not as big as it is now. Although, maybe approximately for who's going through it. Marbles and Chong and Kid and Charlie and Slavka, potentially. Bloop, bloop. Light, I request you do not humble me tonight. I'm a tired girl. Oh, yeah, that's all you go. The broom I got today is really cute, though. It's all, like, teal and adorable. Parents let a friend stir their boat in the driveway temporarily. Sweeney pulled up the lights in their house. Decorated the boat also as a joke. I want to see a picture of this. How do you decorate a boat for Christmas? Like, do you just string... Well, is it like a fishing boat or like a have fun boat? I don't know what have fun boats are called. Whatever's in between fishing and yacht, I don't know. In Coastal City, often for the holidays, is a boat parade. Everyone's boats all lit up, floating past the pier. Oh, that would be so pretty. That's beautiful. They do... People decorate their boats at Navy Pier, and they do like a really nice fireworks show for the 4th of July. It's quite wonderful, actually. If someone is ever visiting Chicago during like the beginning of July, make time to go to Navy Pier for the fireworks. It's quite beautiful. It's quite wonderful. I'm not even really a big fan of fireworks, and I like it. It's nice. But they do something similar around then, and I can only imagine how beautiful it would be around Christmas. Some sort of catamaran. What is this? Oh, it's pretty. It's schmancy. Does it have a big giant sail? I guess most boats need sails, but still. That's cool. I bet you did a beautiful job decorating it. Round of applause. Bravo. Bravo. It's nice of your parents to offer up storage space, too. Storage is expensive. I don't know how expensive it is for boats, but it is for cars and most things, at least around here. Sail was down for land travel purposes. That just makes me think it's a duck, secretly. Like those boats that can go on land and in the water. We went on one in the Ozarks, and it boggled me as a child. I got really scared when it drove off of land into the water. Like, I didn't believe it would actually do it. Put up some lights on the hole. I bet it's beautiful, though. You should hang a wreath on it. I don't know why. Just because why not? My camera has astigmatism. Zeke, you're gonna be the star of the show for a moment here, son. Let's swap us over here. Mute. Did you guys think I was gonna scream? Jump scare. It's the most jump scare that I was doing. Zeke, you're just the Shadow Man. You're the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy Osbourne. This one does the same here. Usually wine tours. Ooh, that sounds nice. I think I have my shirt on backwards because the tag is in front. But it doesn't matter because it's a tube top and it just goes around. It just goes around. It doesn't matter. Zeke, are you ready? Are you ready? It is easier to see Zeke on the mobile cam. No matter how I adjust my lights, one, they'll never be perfect for me, but two, I can't make it so that he's visible. You blend in with the floor. You are one with the floor. Make sure that chat works on both sides. Not the other day's stream, today's stream. Today on Serena TV, there's a bunch of fucking cats. Tank test us. Tank test. 1, 2, 3. Tank test. 1, 2, 3. Yes, BBB. It is working. I wanted to grab my slippers that were in here too. Floofy feet. Is there a sticker in this one? Yes, there is. Why? Where are you from? What are you from? Why am I putting these on the stupidest way possible? I just tried putting them on like this. Like crawling my feet into them. That's how tired I am. Good lord. That's how you flip over forwards and like yeet yourself. Golly gee willikers, Batman. The day there isn't a bunch of fucking cats on the stream, I'll be concerned. Same. Cannot imagine my life without animals. Oh, I put pictures of Daisy together today, and I forgot to text my uncle. I did it with the intention of, and then I got distracted by something, and I forgot to text my uncle. Oh, Jesus, Foya. That was not graceful. Gadunk. Lord. Sonny boy. Sonny boy. Hello. Okay, crunchies. Gunther, we love you. Putting your slippers on like that makes sense for you. Seeing you put sheets on a bed after all. True. It's a good method. When one is small, one must make themselves tall. Gunther, I love you. I love you. I love you. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Okay. Onwards. Onwards! What do I want anywhere with me? Maybe my hair clip. I am so proud of my hair. Like, it is not great right now, but I let it dry after I showered yesterday. Well, obviously. But dry in a different way after I showered last night, and it's actually behaving itself. I'm happy. I'm a happy girl. Oh, hello, Gunther. Oh, that was like epic. It was like movie scene, Gunther. Hello. Hello, son. You say hi to the world. You have such beautiful eyes. You have such beautiful eyes. You're such a handsome boy. Okay, Gunther. Gunther wants some love time. Can't go just yet. Gunther wants some love. Gunther. Oh, well, you crawled under the tripod. One gets bonked by the tripod. One crawling under the tripod. Little baby football. Do we do this in reverse order though? Can we do loves when mom is back in? So you know you're wearing pants right now. It's the best for snuggles. You'll be wearing shorts later. Yes, that's true. That's true. I love you. I love you. I love you. I was such a jerk earlier. Kind of. I don't know if this was mean or not. Gunther was sleeping and he had his tongue super blepping. So I stuck my tongue out and I came up to him and I woke him up by touching my tongue to his tongue. It's like I couldn't help it. I have these intrusive thoughts in my head and I just do the things. It could not be helped. You're hogging all the arms, Gunther. Oh my goodness. We have a Zeke over here too. Little boys. I don't have 3 arms. Why? Where are you going? We just crashing out. Okay. Good night. You guys take care of the zoo. I'm cooked. Oh, Gunther. You're warm. Yeah, come back. Ah. Hi. You're cozy. I love you. I love you. Floor is good. Floor is good. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Okay. Floor is good, but no, Mom is a jerk and we give you a piece. I know, I just pulled you back up here. And now I say I gotta get up. Yes. Yes. We inching. Crawling. We inching. Crawling. Do, 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 do. Almost. We're getting there. Gunther. Come on, buddy. You gotta stop in with the boobs. You gotta stop in with all the boobs. You gotta go see the boobs. I wish it was nap time. I did get pinned. Gunther, you win. If he would be okay with me holding his arm up for victory, I would. Go away, reminder. I'll get back to you when I'm ready for you. Acto Serena win. If I was ever Doc Ock, I swear I would harness my powers for good. Promise I would. I promise. I promise. Blurp, 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 blurp. I'm thirsty again. Coffee. Shouldn't have laid down. That will not stand on the chair. Coffee! Coffee, coffee! Welcome. Are you happy? Are you stable? Are you healthy? Yes. As healthy as you're ever going to be. Put you guys in my pocket. For just a moment. They're all lined up. They're all lined up. Okay. They're plotting something. They're plotting something. I'm so glad that we tidied this home. And I cleaned it more last night because now it's all full of things again. So you can't buy the bin without the lid. I'm not putting Daisy in the thing with the lid, but I think it's a good size kitten wash bin. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Stop in and say hi to Mom first. Hi, Mom. Oh, she was sitting on the chair all fancy. Now she's in the bed all fancy. Mommy. How you doing, sweet girly? How you doing, sweet girly? Hello. Hello. Oh, crawling into bed is dangerous. Hi. Hello, baby girl. Mama void. She's staying out a lot more. I'm very proud of her. Baby girl. She's staying out and being very brave. She's very brave. She's a brave little toaster. She's been getting very playful too. She's playing with her chosen toy right now is a pair of socks. I had bonus socks in here, and she decided that those are a super fun toy. Like, okay. Welcome, Midnight Dynamite. You gotta get the bin with the lid. It's not always, might not always be Kimton Wash bin. That's true. But the bin was included in the price. Like, it was $4 for the container and the bin. And I was like, well, or the lid and the bin. Like, why am I gonna not get what comes with it? Bath time? Okay, I'll let you have your beautiful lady bath time. Oh, and Void has also discovered static electricity and Floofy. She does not like it. We're not a fan of that. Cat has countless toys, but today opted to play with the tab from the compressed air canister. So, surprise! That's funny. I'm sure that was an interesting circumstance. Oh my gosh. I love you, Mama Bear. I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, big Z. You buzz. Can you give me just a few? And then I'll be in with you. They say, we're ready now. And I said, I'm not ready now. I'm not ready yet. I'm not. It's okay. It's just a certain delegation of events due to contamination of clothes. Holy Slavka! Slavka will not leave my shit alone up here, so she has her own blanket on here now. And that was a very big voice and a very big stretch. Oh, sweetness. Oh, sweetness. Oh, sweetness. My island is a mess. It is no judgment zone. That is the last thing I need to super, super tidy is the kitchen counters. I'm only human. And My cans are frozen shut right now, so I have to chisel them open tomorrow. I didn't feel like battling that today. I have a whole pile of recycle to go out. I feel insane. Vitamins and Slavka time. Aw, Chauncey is under his blankie still. You being a chili bean? It's his fancy blankie. It's an ugly color, but it's fancy because it's like ribbed for his pleasure. It has the balls on it. Fancy boy. Fancy boy. Oh, big stretch, fancy boy. Oh, big stretch, baby Yoda. Big stretch. Big stretch. Big stretch. Big stretch. Oh, yes. Oh, Chauncey's so sleepy, so baby. I almost got kissed. Almost. Oh, Slavka, watch where you put your tail during yawns. You're so silly. Am I annoying? Say no up right now, Mom. Only snuggle. Only snuggle. Only snuggle. Ah, big sleepy. Okay, vitamins. Vitamins. Meow. Slavka says, no, me. No, vitaminies. Vitaminies. Gonna go out and blowtorch them open. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hit it with like a hammer or something and like hope that it just cracks whatever ice. I don't know. Can't clean, too many babies to look after. No. That's why I didn't stream. Well, I like Chauncey. Chauncey always interrupts me. I like streaming the babies on Saturdays because they were born on a Saturday. And that gives me a little bit of an extra day to tidy everything up how I want to. But I cleaned the house yesterday. I just didn't get around to the kitchen counters. Everything else is cleaned. Everything has to be clean. I'm not a clean freak, but I'm a sanitization freak. I operate in chaos, but everything needs to be sanitized. Everything is, thankfully. Thankfully. They're the plastic, like, waste management ones, whatever that is. Just the generic trash cans. Meow. But they're frozen shut because it got a tiny bit over freezing. And then the snow melted, and then we got more snow, and now it's in the teens. And it froze shut. I had to put more salt out for taking the dogs out so Diesel doesn't take me sledding earlier. Because he will. He did last winter. He will this winter. Guarantee it. Oh, look at these fucking apples. I know it's not apple season. But look how tiny they are. They're just little guys. I'm not happy with that. They're the best apples that I could find today. But, I mean, they were cheap, but, like, there's no substance to them. I usually do a quarter apple to take with my vitamins so that I, like, have it like a toddler, like I'm chewing something, and then I swallow my vitamins with it. I have to do like a half an apple instead of a quarter apple. It fucked up my apple correlations. It's not okay. They're tiny apples. I sound like my dad. Okay, Tony. Ringo gets called random celebrity names or just random, I guess, fuck, I don't do words tonight. I am so tired. Oh, excuse me, Slavka. Not celebrities. Character. Ringo gets random character names when I'm tired and I'm taking him out. And he was being a big-headed stink the other day. And I went, Tony Soprano, come on! And then the other day, yesterday I think it was, he was Papa Smurf. He hasn't gotten a celebrity name today. But the other day he was Tony Soprano. And then yesterday he was Papa Smurf. He gets many names. Whatever name I feel like at the moment. It's probably some sort of polyethylene, so they shouldn't break too easily if you go out and smack them. Good! But even if they break, I mean, as long as I get them open, that's all that matters. Sometimes the smaller apples have better flavor. I hope so. These are the rave apples that I've been liking. They're usually on sale. Hold me closer, tiny apple. Dun 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 dun. Hold you close, you tiny asshole. But you're not an asshole. I love you. You're just a wild baby. You're just a wild baby. You are. True. It's true. It's true. Little Miss Magoo. What should Ringo's next celebrity name be? Or actor name be? Character name be? We got Tony Soprano. We got Papa Smurf. I think I've called him Elvis Presley. I don't know. I'm usually tired when I do it. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Shaggy wasn't me. Those two were in consecutivity at the same day. Was me. Baby Losa. Baby's so cute in her sweater. Come here. Show off your sweater. Come here. Oh, I'm gonna grab Chauncey PJs too. Look at her little. She's so cute. There's a little devil sweater. She's adorable. This is supposed to be her outfit for day one of Exotica earlier this year, and we didn't end up making it. No, we did not. That was gonna be her little demon matching. They're so cute. My little flufferoo. I'm starting to get really annoyed with when I take her anywhere. Like to the vet's office mostly now. And anyone who looks at her goes, "What happened to her eye?" In like a judgmental tone. And it's really irking me. I don't know. Like unless we're in the waiting room and someone's like actively bleeding out or something, I'm not going to ask someone else like, "Oh, what happened to your dog?" It's none of my business. And it feels weird and judgy and like it's just none of my business. Why does everyone ask that? What happened to her eye? It's starting to really annoy me. It is maybe only because I used to only hear like, "Oh, she's so cute. Like, how old is she?" or something like that. And now I'm only hearing, "What happened to her eye?" But it's very irksome. I have to give her an eye patch that explains what happened to her eye. Yes. Read my eye patch, bitch. Because she goes in for her arthritis shot once a month now. You get her little butt squeezed, because that's fun. And everyone always asks, "What happened to her eye?" I said, "Please. I don't want to have to explain this. I'm tired. I don't want to have to talk to people. I'm going to start telling people, you should have seen the other dog. You should have seen the other guy." Although my cousin, Gibson, my puppy cousin, rest his soul, he did get in, another dog got into an argument with him at daycare, and he did lose an eye because of that. So, like, I really shouldn't talk shit. That's not very nice of me. You do in that situation is make up a different story every time someone asks you. I'm debating it because when things annoy me, I try to find a workaround. Like staying at certain lights while driving, for example. I have them timed out in my head. So it stops annoying me because I can rationalize it. And I need to find a way to make this stop annoying me and rationalize it. And then it won't be annoying. But I'm used to just hearing nothing or like, "She's so cute." And now it's, "Oh, what happened to her eye?" Like, she had to have her, like, "Oh, I took it out just for fun." Like, she had to have it removed. Jeez. I don't want to think about it. You can't just say, "Oh, she had to have it removed," because someone asked why. So then you have to start explaining, "Oh, she had glaucoma and the pressure and..." It's just annoying. I find the human experience annoying. I want it to be a cat. I want it to be a dog. I don't know. I don't want to do this human stuff anymore. I want to trade places with Daisy. Gee, fine, going on a tangent helps you deal with something. See, that doesn't work with like animal people in an animal environment, like at the vet's office, though. Because animal people will talk about animals forever. So then you end up in like a forever conversation. And I live in the Midwest. So I don't know how much you know about Midwest people, but Midwest people don't know how to end conversations. Like, when I'm trying to say bye to my dad isn't even like social or socially functional. I mean, like, he is, but you know, it's still like a 10-minute process of like, take care, okay, make sure you get home safe, or just a whole lineup of take care, hope your day goes well, take it easy, blah 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 blah. Like, just saying bye takes 5 to 10 minutes, let alone trying to get out of a regular conversation ish. It's just cursed. I'm gonna start signing at people when they ask. That's what I'm gonna do. That's how we're gonna solve. Oh wait, no, because then I'm gonna turn around and talk to the girls at the counter, and that's that'd be embarrassing. Whoops. Okay, so maybe we're not gonna do that. I don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah, both of you gotta get the last say. It's annoying. And you have to eventually just say bye and hang up, and I feel rude with the Midwestern guilt. Oh my goodness. Originally from Minnesota. Oh my goodness. I have family in Minnesota, and I love the accents when you get further up north. Oh wait, I forgot one. Whoops. There we go. The land of 10,000 lakes. Or 1,000, I think 10,000 lakes. Minnesota is beautiful. I just wish people would stop asking. Like, why are people so nosy? What do you care? It's not your dog. Like, I try to just see her as a dog and not, I have empathy and sympathy for her, but not like pity, because she functions just fine. And then people say, like, oh, what happened to your dog? And it's like, should I feel bad for her? So, like, she functions fine. I don't know how to explain it. It just hurt me. Got out my caffeine and didn't even drink it. I don't know if this is still good. It's like a week old. It tastes okay. People are just annoying. Chauncey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Throw the phone. What? No accent? Oh my goodness. PSA to Americans, the way you think we sound is actually Minnesota. In certain parts of Canada. Probably most closely connected with Minnesota. I don't know. I've never been. Mr. Chauncey, we're gonna go see Mr. Tank. Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. You're very cute. You're gonna be in charge for a minute? Be in charge for a minute? I wanna make sure everything's closed. Oh, good. Chauncey, wanna snuggle up back in your blankie? Super dog! I grab you some jammies downstairs. Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies. I'm not forgetting Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies. I think I remember. Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey. Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey jammies, Chauncey. Oy. The bar down here is so tiny. I got all the crap off there. I'm so happy. I accomplished a lot last night. I'm proud. I'm going to grab Chauncey jammies. Okay, so I only know how to do like women's clothes, kind of, not men. Does Chauncey want pizza, do you think? Or does Chauncey want his sugar skulls? You guys are in charge of what their clothes are. Which ones? Sugar skulls or pizza? I know, it actually is a tough choice. There's not a third option for indoor pajamas. There's only pizza or sugar skull pibble. These are made specifically for pit bulls and their awkward barrel-chested bodies. The pizza ones, I think I have matching pants for. I don't remember. Do I? I have matching pants for both. I've had pitbull pants that I haven't been wearing for like 2 years. I forgot. I buy cute matching things with the zoo and then I forgot. So later, am Chauncey and I wearing sugar skulls or pizza? Pizza is king. Sugar skulls are cool. I know. But then I didn't know I had the pitbull ones. I had the pizza ones. I think I forgot about these because I bought these myself, and then these were, I think, a treat. They were a gift. I think these are a size larger. It's probably all they had. These are medium. I think these are small. Yeah. Which one matches my outfit? Probably the pizza. Well, I mean, the sugar skulls are rainbow. Pizza. This is how we're streaming now. This is how we're doing it. All right, you guys think about that while we're in with Tank. Because I don't know which ones to grab. I don't know which ones. Marbles. My large and in charge queen. She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. I have matching pants to both, though. It's kind of close to Dia de los Muertos, so it's almost the season. Yeah, we can just go back in time. Take us back to October. How to accessorize your pit bull with Serena. He looks so cute in them, though. Just gotta wait and see. Okay. Mr. Tank. Look at him. He loves going up in the tree, especially after he gets his arthritis shot. He feeling extra sprightly and good. Little avocado. He pulled it off last night and scratched himself open again, so we still can't take it off. Oh my god. Tank. Tank. I love you, buddy. How you doing, darling? How you doing, darling? You use a tall pear avocado. I have to match with him. We have to. Now that I know I have matching pants for both, it's too epic. I was just gonna throw on shorts after we dirty me up in with the babies, but Now I can wear pizza or pibble pants. It's exciting. Either will match. It's perfect. He has a tall avocado. 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 He's saving that eye booger for later. Hi. I love you. See? He got himself. Might need to immortalize the avocado in the form of an avocado. In the form of an emote someday. Here, look at the camera perfect so I can grab a screenshot of that. No, turn around. Turn around. Yeah, da 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 da. I mean, he listened. He turned around. That wasn't quite what we were going for, but okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. You're so cute in this, but I wish you didn't have to wear it. It's very annoying to you, I know. Look. 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 Tank. Tank does things on his own terms. Snapping at you guys like Carmella. There we go. Whatever the stream marker point is at this moment in time. He did get himself pretty good. It fucking sucks ass. Give me this eye booger. Give me. No, I can't have it. You're saving it for later. Okay. They had to shave him for the removal and biopsy. So the hair is shorter there, and he can just scratch the skin so much more easily. And he's relentless. He says, I'm itchy. I haven't been able to scratch myself there in 10,000 years. Right, Tank? So I'm going to scratch like a child. Like a kid, you have to stop telling to scratch their chicken pox. Oh my goodness. Buddy boy. Do you want to just wear this forever? We gotta put some medicine on that while we're down here. Medicine and then snacks on. He says only snack. Only snack, Mom. Only snack. Ah. There we go. Burp. Is there an herbal remedy from like lavender oil or something? I wish. That's actually kind of worth looking into. My vet does sell CBD, and that's actually something I meant to do, and I totally put it out of my head. I thought of it, shower thought, and then forgot about it. I might try some CBD with him to wean him off the cone. Because that'll make him chill, you know? And if that doesn't work, then I'll ask my vet about maybe like a low dose of gabapentin. Gabapentin is like 50-50 with cats. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Do you want to smell like lavender? Essential oils you have to be very careful with cats though. I used to have a diffuser and I knew which ones were safe, but I don't remember exactly right now which ones aren't. I want to say that echinacea and oh god, there's like 3 of them that are particularly toxic, but you have to be very careful with all of them around cats. I want to say that I think lavender is safe, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Ain't a baby. Oh, there's a minty one that's not safe, and I can't remember what it is. I don't know. The handsome boy. Tankacado, avocado. Guessing you chase Slavka paws. He does that. Slavka's just a tease. She's a tease. You want a massage? Alright, we'll do a massage and then snack. Tank massage time. Take a load off your shoulders there, buddy. It's been a long life. It's very, very emotionally troubling, very tensing to be in the avocado. It's hard work to be so cute, and we gotta work out all that tension. I get that this is like effort on my part, but I love that the zoo is also down with massages. Work out all your stress. Do some circles. Oh, okay. Too close to your butt. Okay. Don't want your butt touched when you're getting a massage. Understandable. I think that would freak me out too. The booty is a no-no. Get pretty tense when someone mentions avocado toast. What? Because it's tank toast. Oh my goodness. He loves a good massage. I might be overstimulating though. He looks either 50% happy or 50% about to turn around and give me a nip. He might be overstimulated. Give a break for a moment. Oh, okay. You're just looking back with love. Okay. They're happy, I'm happy. Oh, too far. Okay. Oh, Mr. Tank. Oh, Mr. Tank. It feels so good. Let's see. Okay, snack time now. Man knows his priorities. He's a very classy boy. Oh my goodness. He's got his mouth open with cappies. He's like, oh, so relaxed. He's drooling. Probably in anticipation of snack, but still. Okay. Ready? Get your good stuff. Get your good stuff. Got the goodies. Got the goodies. Tank is growing up. He went from an iPad kid to a laptop kid. Using the laptop as a food table right now, which is so great, right? And that just popped into my head. Let's toss this. Snack on those. Hey, good buddy. Alright, are you gonna relaxy? Get your snackies. Go boop in with Munster. Level up, baby. Ooh. So the parental control's on for him. Don't want him finding something he shouldn't see. Oh my goodness. Scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. Yeah, let me get your light. We must protect his delicate eyes. His young virginal mind, as if there isn't so many posts of cats in the neighborhood that are dead ringer for him. Excuse me, Slavka. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. You think you can go everywhere, and you're just wrong. And you gotta take your shoes off, put foot covers on. I don't think Munster is any kind of contagious, and he's been sick for so long that everyone has already been exposed to it. But at the current timeline, we're doing just in case precautions for everywhere. You guys gotta decide which jammies for Chauncey. Pizza or Pibbles? Pizza or Pibbles? Meow. Munster. Munster has his Aminal TV on. He has one of the Roku boxes. guy. I love you, buddy guy. I love you, buddy guy. Anytime I move this sideways, it bumps Chad up, like, to the very beginning of time. Like, why? Why? Hello, Snort-Nose MacGyver. Can I see your snoot? There's nothing to pick. Okay. Snackies. You sure didn't remember with your food here, son. You're so messy. Messy boy. You're a messy boy. You watch the kibbles. Munster just takes bites and then spits food on the ground because he wants to. Like, he picks up food in his mouth and then he, like, hand selects with his tongue which kibbles he wants. And then just spits out the other ones. We love that for him. Alright, you're gonna get you a snacky. And then you gotta come back down and do your meds around midnight after the babies take the meds. Yes, yes. He's actually been doing good with, like, he's not feeling any better, but he's tolerating the inhaler way better than I thought he would. I'm very proud of him. It's a very weird and awkward thing. I'm very proud of him for that. Munster is not one to tolerate things. Team pizza always. Yes, the beginning of time. It can solve all the ancient world mysteries. Precisely. Exactly precisely. Exactly precisely. Munster, you have one priority in life, and I love that for you. He says, give me snacks. Give me snacks. I'm gonna swap out your bowl tomorrow. You need a mess out of it today. He's the snack man. I want to make sure he eats all this. And then we'll bop in with the babies. Yeah, I'm shocked he's dealing with it. I didn't think he would tolerate it at all. He doesn't want to do it. He only wants to do it up until, like, counting to 7, and then he's like, I'm done. But he'll hold on for until 8. I think he's just grateful that he's not getting another pill shoved down his throat, even though he is, because he's taking his prednisolone. But I'm very shocked that he tolerated that. If I was placing bets on anyone in the zoo who would tolerate it the least, I would put all of my money on Munster tolerating it the least. Instead, he went with it. I'm very proud. My little guy. My little man. You got food on your face. It's on your face. Now you gotta wipe your face. And you're not gonna like that. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You are wonderful and amazing. Yes, you are. He did gain a little bit of weight. He was 7.2 pounds a couple months ago, and he's 7.8 now. No, 7.7. So he gained about half a pound. Hey, baby boy. Hey, baby boy. I know. He does look a little bit more robust, which is good. I don't even know how to put this into words. I'm trying not to be emotional. He's doing worse, but he's eating better. So as long as he keeps eating good, we're good. But until something like that changes, then we'll have to figure it out. But he's eating good, which is the most I can ask from him right now. Hi, baby boy. But if the steroids don't work, it's just going to be a matter of time, which sucks. It sucks. But you know what? I asked you when I brought you home when I was 15. I said, Munster, live with me until I am 30. You have to be mine until I am 30. And he's giving you guys his asshole right now, and he gave me 2 bonus years on top of that. So, I cannot complain. I cannot be upset. You fulfilled your contract. You did. But I talked it over with my vet the other day, and eventually he just won't be able to breathe good enough to be able to eat if the medicine doesn't work. Because cats' appetite relies on their sense of smell. They have to be able to smell their food. So we're just going to give him the best until then. While he's still hungry, man, I want to, because I've told you guys before, he steals food like crazy. Like, he stole one piece of sushi. He's a menace. He steals food insanely. I want to make him like a fake platter, like pretend I'm making a meal for myself, but put a bunch of like animal safe food on it that he could eat that's people food, and let him eat my dinner. I don't know if I'll do that on stream or myself, because I'll probably be emotional through it, but trying to think like what would make you happy, like what are the last things you want to do, and I think he would enjoy that. Probably not being held like that. But he is looking better now, at least in terms of like gaining weight. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. Well, I was racking my brain. I'm like, what makes him the happiest? What does he love doing that he's not allowed to do, or like is very limited to, and stealing my food? What do you film with? What do I film? Like, what am I streaming with right now? I'm just streaming with my iPhone. Don't feel pressured to do something on stream. It can be just for you if you want. That's true. I feel like at the same time though, like they're my pets, but you guys have given so much of your time and love and energy and effort into also spending time with them, and I take videos of those moments anyway, like everyone's last fancy meals or whichever. I have a whole bunch of sad videos in my phone from every time I've had to say goodbye, because I want to see the last time they were happy and be able to hold on to that. It's like if I'm gonna video it, I might as well stream it, but we'll see. Some days we have tougher armor than others. Yeah, it's just horizontal. Thank you. I think it's the iPhone 15. I would have bought it sometime in like the spring of last year. So it's not new by any means, but it's decent. Thank you. We loved them so much. I don't want to think about my life without you. So you just gotta keep eating and be a fat boy. You gotta be my little fat boy. Fat boy. He hates me. He wants more snacks. He's done with my shit. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. So choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking time to be here tonight. Oh, I don't know what my phone battery level is, so at some point I'll have to grab the external charger. It'll sound like I'm underwater. It'll die at some point. Hi, baby. A little extra chunk never hurt nobody. Never hurt nobody. There we go. Yummies! All the snacks. All the snacks, all the snacks, all the snacks, all the snacks. Up and down the garbage. It's my life. The silly songs and hey you. Chonk fans here. That's why Tank is so great. Tank is such a cute little chonk. He's not even like chunky. It's just the way he holds himself, and inevitably is because of his wonky legs that he looks like such a chunky man. That's so funny. He's perfectly healthy weight. He's just a tank. Monster, I love you. You enjoy your little snack time. Enjoy your little snack time. I shall be back into meds in A little bit, my boy. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Garbage. Feet covers off. Hand sanitizer. Slippers on. On the flip side, too, I don't want Monster contracting anything that anyone else might have. So foot covers are good. I really thought I would never go through all of those, and I'm on my last pack of them. I think pizza was the final verdict. Pizza. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Put Chauncey in his jammies, then we'll pop in with the babies. Oh, that's such an awkward climb in slippers. What I don't know if it's like your foot holding onto the shoe or what, but climbing over stuff in slippers is just awkward. I always engage a weird muscle like on the inside of my thigh when I'm doing it. I don't know how. I don't know how. Chauncey, pajama time. And then mommy pants for later. I can't believe I have pibble pants too. I know, Charlie, can you believe it? Chauncey, you want to put your jammies on? It's real cozy. But you've been chilly. You want to put your jammies on? Uppy. 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 Alright, which way do these go? I always get confused. Oh, yeah, that was a big groan wake up. Yes. Yes, yes. These get wet really easily, so they're only for in the house, not out in the snow. Only for in the house, not out in the snow. No, no. Yeah, put your leg through. You just want to be a tripod? You gotta put your leg through. There you go. Pull them over your butt. There we go. One more Lego. One more Lego. Aw, they even match your blankie. There you go, pizza party. There you go, pizza party. Hail Charlie. Oh, Charlie. Oh, Charlie. She's getting a bit robust with the free feeding. I need to weigh her and see if she's gained weight, because she looks chunky to me. She's like, guys, tell her to put me down. Tell her to put me down. Chauncey, you're so cute in your jamalamas. I'm gonna cozy back up in your blankie. I know I disturbed your rest. I'm sorry. Okay. We'll try and grab everything we need for the BBs, and then drop us in the hallway for a second. So I gotta switch socks for and with them. And I gotta go Tinky. Oh, I didn't grab towels. That's what I forgot. Chauncey, you're in charge. I'm gonna run back downstairs really quick. She does know how to eat when there's food. Look, garbage cat. I remember thinking she was kind of chunky last winter, though. I almost wonder if she habitually will eat more in the colder months from just like habit or learning when she was out with her babies. Yerba mate for the Zoo Madre. Oh, that's smooth. That's slick. Cheers to you for that one. Go awake juice. Trying for. I figured out what this tastes like. I like it. But this is going to sound really weird how I'm going to describe it. It's elderberries and blueberries. It tastes like prune juice, but like if prune juice was good. Like prune juice is not bad, but it's not someone's like chosen drink. It's like a softer version of prune juice. I don't know if that's good or not, but it tastes good. I'll go with it. It's good. Alright, Bobby gotta grab towels. In case Dave needs a bath, we gotta grab towels. Baby girl, baby world. Baby, you trying to break into the basement. You're so naughty. You're so naughty. So naughty. So naughty. I had a lot of plum jam growing up. I'm not a fan of plum things. Oh, plum jam sounds interesting. I like plums. I don't think I've ever had plum jam. Would be. Does it taste like prune juice? Like similar? Because prunes are plums, right? I think. I think. The food, the fork. I think that's it. Hey, Pippi, you're very cute. I don't know. If I forgot something, we'll figure it out. The same flavor. Prunes condense the sugars more through the drying process. So it's like gross candy, extra sweet. Yum. It's terrible. Yum. Little pajama party. You're so cute. Try the bear, we love you. We love you. We love you. Oh, it's not gonna fall in there. I need to put something in a pocket. I don't have enough hands for this. Prune juice is very sweet. That's the one thing I don't like about it. It's a thick texture and it's very sweet. So it feels like you're. Ow! God damn it! Not only did I drop the phone, I dropped it on my toe, specifically one toe, and that was very painful. Ow! Mother of pearl. Holy banana spiels. That was unpleasant. It's just thick and sweet. It's gross. Ugh. Well, not gross. It's just not a juice I would choose. It's just not. Yeah, if it's gonna be thick, I want it to be like a smoothie. Ah, nice catch by my second toe. Oh my god, that hurt. What else is in my pocket? Oh, from the. They don't have their tunnel anymore because they pooped their pants in it. I got them another boxy pop up, but I'm gonna wait until their poops clear up a little bit before we get those going on. I'm gonna mute me. I got a tinky, and I don't know how much we can hear from the bathroom here.
Blurp. Blurp, blurp, blurp. I'm gonna throw my pizza pants over here. Let's try to catch things you drop with your paws. Sometimes things that you shouldn't try to catch. I don't like having my toes smashed. I actively dodge it. Actively dodge it. You're very brave. I'm not that brave. How do we do this? Need different socks. This is my baby's room clothes pile. But this we're just gonna zip and then we'll change clothes when we get out of there. It's a fine line between brave and stupid. I used to hear that a lot growing up. I used to also be very brave, but also much more stupid. No free feet. Burp, burp, burp. Burp, burp, burp. Burp, 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 burp. I will be back for you all. I'm not abandoning you, Club Cult. This is a multi-step process, literally. Literally. It's okay. Hello, Beba Stinkies. Get them eaten. Then I gotta take vitamins. Merp. Sleepy. Ah, sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. Sleepy, sleepy, sleepy. Separation anxiety already set to the max. Aw. Hi. They have such crunchy meows. So crunchy. She has such a big purr. Keep it going. Keep it going. You can do it. Ah, she doesn't like being held. Well, she doesn't like purring while being held. Daisy. Are you getting your squeak on? Hi, Mommy. Hi, Big Floofer. You're a dirty girl right now. You're a dirty girl right now. Yeah. She knows she's so pretty. She's one of those girls that knows she's pretty. Okay, let's get some yummies together. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Aw, really? Is your cat like any outdoor lineage? I wonder if it's because they're... I don't think I've heard Void meow. Void doesn't meow, but she's not feral. But their dad might be feral. I don't know. But feral cats don't meow. Like, cats only vocalize really to communicate with people other than like or so I wonder if it's just genetics. It's weird. The hybrid cat. Aw. It's from a farm. That's so awesome. One of those girls knows she's pretty pot meat kettle. Daisy, you know you're beautiful. I know I have my moments, but you know you're beautiful 24/7. I have my moments though, and then I have moments where I don't give a fuck. I didn't even wear a bra when I was taking care of the babies last night. Like, I put on a bra to leave the house, and I didn't even put on a bra here. Jesus. But I was cleaning. We were on the move, on the go, getting all the things done. Daisy May. Very cute. And I think I told you guys the other day, my ear got infected from this earring. I look like a hillbilly right now. Or half a hillbilly, anyway. This hole is irritated right now. I tried putting my other earring in back today because it was feeling better, and it got irritated again. So I think I'm like the earrings have tarnished down to like the cheap part because they're coated in what I'm not allergic to, but then they're cheap underneath. So I think they wore down. But at some point in the last 24 hours, I lost this, and I really hope it was in the shower and like down the drain. I cleaned in here. It's not in here. I can't find it in the rest of the house cleaning. It's somewhere. It's gone-ish. I don't know. Oopsies. 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 I was really scared it was gone in here though. Big stretch. Oh, okay. You ready for hungries? Am I missing any steps? I don't think so. Hydration check. Daisy, you're decent. Stripies. Decent. Nibblies. Wait, that was Nibbler on the chair. Stripes is under here. And Stripes, you could be a little bit more hydrated, but we're not panicking until tomorrow hits. There we go. You're not gonna give a fuck, go with no makeup. Oh, it's not. I didn't have any makeup on last night either. I was just straight scrubbing. But the camera quality is also kind of crap when I'm doing the baby cam. It's not as high of quality, so it doesn't matter. Trials and tribulations of piercings, you probably never understand. They're fun until they get annoying, like they fall out or these. Thankfully, I've never lost these. I had a friend in high school who also had snake bites, and he would always lose them in his sleep. I don't know how. But knock on wood, I've never lost mine, thankfully. 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 All right, let's make ridiculously complicated meals. Not actually, but close enough. Because they need probiotics, and they need fiber, and they need water spliced into their food. And we're trying to stay as hydrated as possible. And I'm not panicking. You're panicking. Aha! Nyahahaha. Sleepy mask. Drinky. Oh, I forgot I spilled water into that earlier. There's already water in that. Pastorina was looking out for Daisy! I finally figured out how this bowl always gets spilled. Daisy lays next to it and just boops it. So the water waves. She just boop it. She's booping it. Because I couldn't figure out how that was continuously spilling. And it's because she's knocking it and playing with it. She says, I'm the little mermaid. All right, we'll clean that up when. Are you done drinking? Okay. And you're so proud of yourself. You're so hyped that you did that. That's so exciting. Okay, there you go, Stripes. You did good? We're going to have it down here. And we're not going to boop it. Excusey. Excusey. Now I spilled. Okay. It was just driving me mad. For the life of me, I could not figure out how that kept spilling everywhere. And then I caught her doing it. Like, I see you. I see what you do. Daisy is a menace, very cat. It is a very, very catty feature that she has going on here with this. Oh my god. Why did I do this way? Because I spilled and I was trying to make it more. That's what I went by the paper towels for. Dang it. God dang it, Bobby. It's wet on the bottom of the cup. There. Okay. Wet bowls.
You guys gonna behave for this one? Probably not, but maybe. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Oh. I can't do this like this. No, I can't. It doesn't work that way for me. It's not the proper allocation of space. Ah, don't pull my pants down. You can jump up, but don't pull my pants down. I know, Mommy, we're making food. We're making some food. Yes, we are, my dude. And yes, it is so, it is true. I'm making it for you. That's my butt. Mindful, mindful, mindful. Let's think about what we're doing here, girls. Some fiber. Some probiotic. I know. I feel like adding liquid to their food is probably making the poops worse, but it's helping them stay hydrated more. So, like, trade off, I don't know. I have to replace the liquid that they're losing. There's no question to that. Hi, Mommy. Hi, Mommy. Hi. Ow. You have really long nails right now. So I don't want to stress out your butt by doing your nails, but holy, they're long. Come on, one more plate. One more. One more. Hungries. Here you go, girls. There we go. Now we're happy babies. Happy babies. Happy babies. Now I don't know where I threw you guys. Oh, over here. You making Kimpton's dinner on the roof at this rate? I know, right? I'm almost like too short to do it up here too. Like I can barely. Tippy toes would be better. This is. It's too short. Need suspenders. That would probably be a good choice. I have suspenders. I have my own pairs of suspenders, and I have pairs of my grandfather's suspenders. I have a pair of bright red suspenders that I don't even know what outfit they were from, but they're funny. They're cute. I never wear them though, because it's embarrassing, even if they're cute. Hello, my little poopy pants. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Talking to the kittens, not you guys, Club Cult. If you got poop pants, that's the problem. Little hungry shittens. Done. Now we're awake for the night.
Kind of, maybe. For like the next 10 minutes. Little hungry beans. I had all of them snuggling with me in our little floor bed earlier. It was nice. It was nice. I feel like they're more cuddly on this too because there's just not the most space in the world up here. And despite the floor bruising me, it really is more comfortable than the couch. Hi. I'm gonna fill up your bowls and clean your boxes, and then it's gonna be crap your pants time, and we're gonna figure it out. Kara's hopeful we just had an affectionate nickname. Hope's dashed. Oh, Club Colt. I would not do you all so dirty as to refer to you that way. Cannot. Cannot. Alright, tidy time. Bowls time. And fish bowl stream time. Y'all just took this down, didn't you? Windows are a little bit drafty, so I'm trying to keep the draft out. I was just gonna clean that. What are you doing? Oh, you're over here. Are you gonna poop under there? Please don't poop on the floor. Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Daisy, get out of the bag. Baby mama. You, come here. Are you gonna? I see what you're doing. Mommy. Can we try not to? No, we're gonna do it. Okay. Poop in our pants. Put this up here. Grab cleanup wipes. Oh, did we change our mind and go to the litter box? Okay, good girl. I know. Owie tummy. Owie tummy. Oh, we did change our mind. Okay, that's a good little lady. That's a good little lady. A proper gal. You got it. You got it, honey. You got it. It's okay. I feel so bad. I just want to make things better. There you go. Good girl. They're like soliding up a little bit from the fiber, but not like dramatically. It's okay, baby girl. I'm about to clean that up. You don't even have to kick over it if you don't want to. He's so snuggly. He's like, Mom, is it bedtime now? Stripes with the toy. Hey, you guys are my little poopy pantsers. Am I talking about the cats, the club coat? You never know. Question is who pooped in my pants. There might be some drinking involved. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Probably not an uncommon occurrence, but I had a friend like in high school and post high school days who brought a girl to a party and she got too drunk and passed out and peed on his lap. Which that's at least it wasn't poop, I guess. Welcome, King. I'm doing alright. How are you doing? Happy whatever day it is today. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Here you go, girlfriend. You got it. You got it. Okay, that's a little better. So they're moving in waves of improvement. Now Stripes is going a little bit better, but Nibbler just was certainly not going the best. So Stripes came down with it first, and she's seeing the most improvement at this point. Good girl. That's good. You did your best. Daisy is doing the worstest right now because she got it last. Human's fiber doesn't solidify things as protein. That's true, but when you take fiber, it helps. I don't think I described this correctly, but in a nutshell, your intestines to absorb more water instead of like sucking you dry. It makes it a more comfortable process generally for most people. Apologize to anyone choosing now to join chat with the current conversation. I mean, I got kittens and they be shitting, so they be shittens, and that's. I'm pretty sure we're all adults here. I would hope so. That's life. Oh, I can't think about vomit. Vomit's gross. Makes me nauseous. I used to gag Oh my goodness, baby! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like hovered my foot over her tail. I didn't quite step on it, but I did enough to startle us both. Human vomit I cannot deal with. Usually, I was able to deal with it with my niece and nephew. Thankfully, I used to gag horribly when I was a kid. My dad would tell me to clean up cat messes, but that animal mess doesn't bother me anymore. Like, I'll catch cat puke in my hands. Like if they're gonna throw up on a rug or something where they really shouldn't. It's just like ah. My dad was amazed when he saw me do that. He's like, you used to like ignore spots on the ground, or if I would tell you to clean it, I would literally be like gagging the entire time for it. It's like you're catching that in your hands. Yes. Welcome to the Z-Milf life. Welcome to the Z-Milf stream. I gotta clean these up before there's more messy. Just so we have a clean baseline. Because whenever Daisy has to go, it's gonna be a go. You just did Tinkies. Hi Daisy, how's your butt doing? How is your butt doing today? What are you wild girls doing? What are you doing, silly babies? What you doing? Oh, Stripes, I know that doesn't mean you're better, but that fills me with confidence. You guys have been so uncomfortable. And that looks a little bit more internally tolerable. My poor babies. My poor babies. Because everyone and their sister used this box. We need more litter. More litter. Need more litter. Hello, Daisy. You put blankets on everything because you poop your pants. And that's okay. It happens to the best of us. I can almost guarantee that everyone at least one point in their life, whether it's when you're 8 or when you're 80 or somewhere in between, you're gonna shit your pants. So we do not judge Daisy for her occurrences under duress. There we go. In a hardened condition, what does that mean? Need a soft kitty. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby girl. Hey, 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 King. I hope you're having a wonderful night so far. Experienced pants shitter. A professional, if you will. Is born completely potty trained, judging fiercely. Oh my god. Apparently, I was very unmotivated to be potty trained. I don't remember any of that part, but I was potty trained in one weekend by my godparents with Pez candy. So just like a dog. I was trained like a dog. Anytime I used the bathroom, I got a Pez. And I loved Pez when I was a kid. Like, we collected, my godparents and I, or maybe just for me, or maybe my godmother, I don't know, we collected like all the different little containers of them and the cool ones. I have a Princess Leia one somewhere that maybe is worth something. I don't know. But I was potty trained one weekend with Pez. Every time I went to the potty, I got a Pez. And I gotta get the cleaning rags out of here so the babies don't chew them up. But I remember that. I remember getting a bunch of Pez. I just don't ever remember being stubborn. But that's a story my dad likes to fondly tell. That he sent me away to my godparents for the weekend and got potty trained in one weekend with Pez. I really like Pez candy. And I don't know. It's good. It's yummy. I haven't had Pez in years. Do they even still make them? Are they still a thing? I was just very adamant on not doing it though. Apparently. But Pez wins. Pez wins. You guys are so silly. Wild beans. Fill up their food and wobbles. Miss Daisy slooshed a little bit. When are you going to poop, Daisy? Because that kind of requires visual. Because you're going to poop your pants. Yes, you poop in your pants. That's life, girlie. You poop in your pants right now. Please, no bucket bath at 4 a.m. Please. 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 It's just sugar in a fancy wrapper, but there's like a slight flavoring to them. They're not chalky. I don't know. I'm really craving Pez right now. I need positive reinforcement in life. I want Pez. Need positive reinforcement. Are you relaxing and sleepy, or are you not feeling good? They seem to get extra full after their soupy meals too, but then the girls start whiling around. The twins. But Daisy kind of just chills for a little after meals now. I mean, a good poop slave. You deserve Pez. Pez and Australian candy, apparently. Ooh, that would fit right in then. Just got my kangaroo hoodie on. Eat some Pez. Fit right in perfectly. These wild creatures. Mufasa. Scar. And then Eepy Daisy. What are you thinking here, gal pal? You want to see what they're doing? She regenerated her energy levels. She put herself back together. Says, I want to play Lion King too. Let me play Lion King too. Stands for Pfezermins, which means peppermint. I don't think I've ever had a peppermint Pez. I remember them being like fruity. Austrian. Oh, I added extra letters. Oopsies. 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 So it's Sound of Music. The hills are alive with the flavor of Pez. That takes place in Austria, right? That's where they are? In Sound of Music, I think. What are you doing, little mighty bean? Nibbler really likes being on crew. She likes being underneath the tripod. What do you have? That's your tail. She pranked me. It's your tail. You're silly. You're silly Billies. Are you gonna get her? You can get her. You can do it. You can do it, Stripes. You can do it. 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 It was very calculated. Oh my goodness. What are you doing, Nibbly? What are you doing? What are you doing? Little Nibbler. Oh, okay. No hold. Okay. Okay. They escaped to Switzerland in The Sound of Music, if I remember correctly. Yeah, but that's at the end. Now remember where their home was. My grandpa liked that movie. We watched it a decent amount of times. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Somewhere that was occupied. I don't remember though. I feel like I remember the beginning where, like, she was the Covenant or whatever that she was sent off from. They mentioned where it was. But I don't know if they ever mentioned where the house was. Or maybe vice versa. You chill, kind of, a little bit, crazy girls. Don't chew on her legs. Oh, Nibbler bit me so bad earlier, I growled at her. And everyone stopped in their tracks. I went, "Rrrr." She's being a crazy lady. Bath time. Bath time. Is in Austria, next to the Alps. Dang, I can't believe I actually got that right. Got the country wrong first, but got the lore right. Aha. Across the Alps to Switzerland. I liked that movie. My niece did it in a play, and she was. Oh, who was she? She was one of the sisters. No, she wasn't. She was in tech crew for that one. Some of the ones she wanted to try out for, some of them she just did tech for. She was in tech crew for that one. And she played, when they did the play Clue, she played the police officer for that, and she was so adorable in it. She was so funny. But she was in tech crew for The Sound of Music. That's what it was. But I liked the show that they did. She was so proud of herself for everything she was doing in tech. I like that she even considered doing both. I was too shy to do either, but I wanted to do both, and I didn't do either. She's so brave. Pez lore is 1 out of 10, but Sound of Music lore is 10 out of 10. Yes. Don't quiz me though. That's probably all that I know. I don't remember all the sisters' names or and anyone's name actually. Remember some of the songs. I am 16, going on 17. Da, 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 da. What? What are you doing, crazy girls? Daisy, if you're gonna poop your pants, you gotta kind of do it nowish. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I just don't want to walk back and do a huge mess. She's playing. She might be stimulating her insides. I think I could have had a lot of fun in theater. My freshman year, I went to the orientation to, like, join theater and, like, be able to try out for things, etc. And that's one of the first times I remember having a panic attack in public. I got really nervous, and then, like, during the listening part of, like, the director doing all the speech of, like, how everything would go, I didn't know a single person there. Like, no one, not one person. Not one person. And then at the end of their speech, you had to group up and do things, and I didn't know who to group up with, and everyone else knew someone else, and it was just awkward, and I left. And I waited for the bus. I gave up like that. Oops. And I think back on that, like, I should have just been more brave. Like, just say hi to people. Like, you can do that. But it took me a long time to be able to do that. It sure did. But I think I would have enjoyed it a lot. I had my high school boyfriend, he was in tech crew, and he had friends in tech crew. So I helped out with a few things with them after school and got to, like, be behind the scenes and see the tech part, and that was fun. but I never actually truly participated in it. But they were in like a fun little metal band, and they did the talent show one year and played like this elaborate like pirate metal song. And it was really fun and cool, but that was neat. I got to uh, help set up for everything with that, like coordinate the outfits. I was the only one with the biggest car at the time, kind of. I was driving my dad's SUV, so I got to bring all the band stuff. I felt like the coolest band girlfriend in the year. Ever. Ever. So I got to participate in pieces of it, but I think I would have liked actually being a part of it. Because every year in grade school, I was a part of the play and like wanted to be a part of it, but I knew people because it was K through 8, so I grew up with all of the same people. And then now into this high school that's huge, and I don't know anyone. No, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Daisy, are you gonna poop? You gonna poop? You gonna poop? I would like you to poop. Say no, I'm gonna be a poop. I think it was an Al Storm song that they did. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm racking my brain for it. I can think of the sound. What would it have been? Pirate Drinking Crew? No. Oh, here it is. It's literally the pirate song, Alstrom. See how the kittens feel about that. They don't like what I sing. Maybe they like this. What do you guys think? What's the verdict? Nuts have a heart of a lion. I like it, girl. Well, Daisy, what do you think? You like it? You like it? Yeah? What do you think? They're looking at me like, what is wrong with you, lady? Hey! Wait, what is exactly the song? Good call. I thought I was being dumb. I was thinking pirate song. And it literally is pirate song. Literally. Literally. She is so cute looking at. Are you guys having pirate scorn? Maybe they wouldn't like to do that. Baby, what are you doing? Anything you want, because you can. Yeah, you scratch up that chair. You get it used. There you go. This was the shampoo I was questioning if was kitten safe. If they're over 12 weeks, it's okay, which they are. But it's waterless. It's just like a foam. I use this for dry shampoo for myself, honestly. It's good stuff. Need a quick scrub in between, foam it up, and go on with life. Hey! Hey! This is an excellent kitten drama soundtrack. Daisy would lick her ass again. Usually do that after you poop. Are you gonna poop? Are you gonna? It's medicine time. Yeah, do your meds, girls. It's almost the Sky Brothers scene. I know. No. Aha. Aha. Glad I got another bottle of clindamycin because I think we are going to run out of it before Monday is over. Ready? Ready? I'm sorry. I know, it tastes bad. It tastes bad. I know, I'm sorry. Oh, oh. Ready? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I know. Daisy gets very offended. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am the worst. I am the worst. I am evil. Oh, right down there on fighting. Okay. Oh. Daisy doesn't like to swallow it. She tries to spit it out and then some goes down the wrong pipe. Now she's having a little coffee and I start having a panic attack. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay. Someone just farted really big. That's stinky. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's okay. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Okay. I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Here, fall over. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You good? I'm sorry, mamas. Oh, you're a wild lady. You're a wild lady. Stripe says, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Hey, Daisy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're going to give her a couple more minutes to try and poop and then skadoop-a-doop. I don't know. Bath time. It's really cute. Aw, she was just grooming her ears. The twins. The twins. Hey, Buzz. Little silly peanuts. Because they're so silly. Get her. Get her. Poor Daisy. I'm so sorry. She, just fights against the medicine so hard. The first dose that I gave to her ended up running all down her side. She just closed her mouth completely. It was open, but, she put her tongue back or something. What are you doing? You're awfully cute. You're awfully cute. You're awfully wild and silly. Oh, what a timeline this has been. I cannot wait to get results for them and get them started on meds. Oh my god. I feel so bad they're going through all this. Clearly it's not the end of the world. They're playing, they're silly. They're not being lethargic, they're holding it together, but this has been interesting. Crazy babies. The madness. The madness is taking over. The madness is taking over. Daisy's like a little hot dog in a bun under there. She's so big. She's so big. Everyone gained good today, though, which is wonderful. I'm concerned, but I would be much more concerned if they were still losing weight again. You gotta be chunky. We need a chunky household. Chunky chunks. Chunky chunky chunks. You're so silly. Daisy's like, hey, what are you looking at? We got this tiny bean over here. Nibbler says, snuggle time. Snuggle time. No, not belly button ring time. Jesus Christ. Not belly button ring time. Ooh, shiny. Ooh, shiny. She knows it's behind my hand. She's trying so hard to get to it. She knows. Yes, amuse yourself with the drawstring. What are you doing, tinies? Daisy, you're a little Yule log. Did you know? Did you know? You crazy girl. Crazy girl. Wanna come up too? Stripes, you could come up, but you're just an independent girl. Hi, Daisy. How do you feel about the concept of going potties? You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'd like to see and be here when you go, you know. Observe and report. Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, what's that? Is that toy? Do I get kisses? Well, thank you. That was very nice of you. See, I'm just tasting you to chew on you. Right, if you bite hard, I'm gonna growl at you. Jungle Gym. What are you doing, Nibs? Drawstring. That's my hair. No, not Not Don't eat hair. Don't. Wipe out. Wipe out. Wipe out. You found the zipper? You found the zipper. The zipper. The zipper. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm a tired girl. It has been a big day for us, hasn't it, girls? Oh my goodness. It's been a wild week. God, I just can't wait to see what's going on with you guys. Then everything will calm down in the way of the world. Yes. It was a mighty leap, Stripes. A very mighty leap. She's coming up to get you guys. Maybe. Maybe. Come here, tiny beans. Tiny beans. Tiny beans. Hi. Hi. When you finish your bowls and do some go potty pants, we can do that. Now it's even time. Getting cozy with the beans. I can't help it. I'm trying to give Daisy time to go potty in case I need to do damage control. There, drawstring. Drawstring. Okay. It's certainly not going to kill me to lay down with the babies for a minute. Ow! Oh. Oh. That hurts. Oh. 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 Gentle. Gentle nibs, Nibbler. Gentle. Gentle. Oh. 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 You don't really care that I'm growling at you anymore. Oh my goodness. Cozy time. Ain't no tickling going on here. She's biting me. She says, flesh. Human flesh. Delicious. Now we're obsessed with the trash. Daisy, you gonna poop? Because you get poopy pants when you poop. We don't want to be a fool with our pants. I think tickle and ticklish is like the last remaining like fetish related word that I haven't banned yet. I need to put it on the list. It's going on the list. It's on the list. Get it. You're part of Tech Crew. Go put it on the list. Go put it on the list. Go do it. Go do it. Voya, type it in. Maybe you can hear me from here. I don't know. Daisy looked. Your name's not Voya. You're silly. Ow! Oh. 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 Nope, nope, nope. That's gonna be a bad spot. That's my belly button ring. Hi, Daisy. Come here. Here, no belly button ring. Gentle. Ow. Girlfriend. You munching good. Good baby. I'm gonna get the good stuff in ya. I'm gonna wash those bowls before second dinner. You guys are so fancy. Second breakfast, second dinner. I'd like to get them down to 2 wet meals a day, but I'd want them to be feeling better first. Been learning about Pez this whole time. Now I'm developing a Pez fetish. Oh god. I mean, they are cool. It is satisfying to pop one out of the machine. Whee! Oh, I thought you were about to jump. Nope. Distracted. You gonna poop? I feel like between Ringo and the kittens, all I do is say, "Are you gonna poop?" all day. I think that's mom life, so like it's okay, it's accurate. But between Ringo and the kittens, because Ringo's still a baby, you gotta remind him to poop. I just say, "Are you gonna poop?" all day long. That's what my life has become. I'm not complaining. I'm just examining objectively. Mom life. Mom life. You licking the bowls clean too? It's good girls. Did I put more Skittles in that? Did you just eat a bunch? Yes, okay. Less expletives, but Ringo and I have similar conversations. Kind of just approach him with a cavalier voice of, hey buddy, do we feel like pooping yet? Poop time? Poop time? Poop time? He's had so many GI issues, though, that I don't blame him for being a little bit stubborn with it. But it's like, you can't run around in the yard for 15 minutes and not go potty and then come inside and have an accident. Like, you gotta remember that outside is poop time. You gotta remember that. It's important. Straight bean nap time. Nibbler munchy. Daisy Plazy. Daisy Plazy. You are so cute. Alright, when we swap to pizza pants, clean socks, I want to grab the kangaroo hoodie out of my bedroom with Mama Cat, Miss Void. And I want to see if Zeke will go into it, see if we can coax him into it. Because he liked being scooped up in my regular hoodie earlier, because I had a ginormous hoodie on. Like 2XL. Big hoodie. I could do this all day. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just as bemused as she is. Zeke does want to be swaddled. He doesn't like being held. But he totally loved being scooped up in my hoodie. You want to participate too? Meow. 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 Daisy went straight to the source. Straight to the source. There's 2 strings. There. Two strings. 2 chains. 2 strings. There we go. Are you getting sleepy? Oh, Daisy getting sleepy. Kind of. Not anymore. Sometimes belly rubs activate the crazy, sometimes belly rubs activate the sleepy. Sometimes they do both. Right now we're doing both. Oh, how hard it must be to be a baby kitten. Daisy is killing me with this whole paw on you scenario. She falls asleep with her paw on me, and it's like, you're choosing me, and like, fuck you, you can't do that. I can't keep you. Not unless nobody else wants you, but someone out there will want you. But I love you. I forgive myself for loving them, though. Like with Tank, I tried not to love him too much at first. With Void, I tried not to love her too much at first. Same with Slavka, same with Charlie. And I think it's fair that I love these beings. I'm not trying not to. They're kittens. If I didn't love them, there would be something wrong with me. I would be a sociopath. Now we're sleepy, baby. Okay. No poops, just sleeps. That's fair. Nibbler, you're not chopped liver. There you go. There you go. Daisy is entering nap mode. You are now free to nap about the country. So eepy. I can, but if I keep them all, then I can't help more buddies. I mean, I have a good amount of space, but I don't live in a mansion. The Franch is not a mansion. It would be a perfect world if we could have infinite kitties. But it doesn't work that way. I just want what's best for them. Like, everyone in my house gets enough time and attention, but if they could go, like these guys, to a home where they're going to get more time and attention, more time and affection, more of the most best good there ever is, like, they deserve that. If they could get 90% of one person instead of 50% of me, that's way better. I want that for them. Sociopaths often love animals and babies. That's true, but I feel like that's like an ego boosting kind of thing. A lot of sociopaths want to have children or a lot of children because it's like their image. And I think with animals too, tend to have like more fancy breed or like an expensive animal because it's like an extension of them. Not saying that they don't like love them and care for them and actually like provide them a good life. I think sociopaths can be well functioning humans that do act kindly even if it doesn't come naturally. But I think it's more seen as like an extension of oneself, particularly having children. Ow. I bent my wrist funny. I snuggled for too long. Alright, Daisy is clearly in sleep mode and not poopy mode. So let's hop in with the boys for a little bit before bed. You are so eep. I love you. Sleep hard, play hard. Eat hard, drink hard, and then you just gotta poop hard. Everyone's sleepy except for Nibbler. She's like, I want to stay up and watch TV. Guys, it's not time for bed yet. she's moderating right now. She's in charge. You're so silly. That's interesting. Sociopaths love that animals and babies don't adhere to societal norms and view these beings as unjaded by the world that they disapprove of. It's interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Okay, you can have your EPs. Now Nibbler's passing out. The little EP ones. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. And we're up. We gotta do a quick clothing swap in the hallway because germs. Just in case. Be overly cautious because it seems like my zoo has it going on, like the main big zoo. Love you, beans. It might just be stress colitis because this has been stressing me out, but just in case, we're gonna have an abundance of caution. An abundance of caution. They try to go in the bed sometimes, but they, especially Daisy, spills out of it. Nibbler and Stripes can kind of curl up into it. Alright, let's get us sideways here. Blurp, 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 blurp. They do grow up too fast. How are they 13 weeks old already? When did that happen? I do like my new broom though. It's all blue. Go Target. I considered stopping at the Dollar Tree, but it was $8 at Target and brooms are $7 at the Dollar Tree now. So it's just like, and they don't sell those bins at the Dollar Tree. And flip us over. Change pants. That's awkward moment when. I know. I feel like they were just born and they were born in September 6th. Like, how the fuck is it December? It's nuts. It's nuts. I do feel bad though. Like the cute baby phase is so much fun and I love it, and I feel bad that I've gate kept Nibbler and Stripes from their new home with it. But they need to be spayed, number one. And number two, they need to not have upset tummies to get spayed. And I'm not gonna send sick cats home, and I'm not gonna send them home being unspayed. Like that's two negatories for me. But I just keep reminding myself, like, you know, when you love them, and you don't really care what their age or status is. Like you're prepared to love them no matter what. Like with Daisy's a little booger on her nose, her little Marilyn Monroe spot. You know, someone's gonna love her for that, not in spite of or despite of that. I need to redo the drawstring on these, but they're knotted. I think. Oh no, it's a bow. Okay. Then we're gonna get we're getting really cozy tonight, guys. Get the kangaroo hoodie. Okay. I know, right? I feel like it's a positive quality to adopt. Your little booger. It's so cute. It's so cute. I think it started to develop when she was like 4 or 5 weeks old. She wasn't born with it. And I thought there was like like a goober or something on her nose at first, but no, it's just the little bitty pizza pants. We gotta stop in with Chauncey and match with him. Oh my god, this is so fuzzy from the last time I wore it with little kid. But we're going with it. It's fuzzy. It's really fuzzy. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I think the hood has cat ears. It does. Meow. 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 What? You don't want to be invited to my pizza party, the man Topher? Is that what you're saying? There's the door. You know how to use it. I'm matching Chauncey. Cyogenics and Midnight Dynamite picked them out. I gave you guys choices earlier of Sugar Skull Pipples or pizza, and we decided Chauncey and I have pizza jammies on tonight. We made an executive decision. When your black clothes are mostly white, you might be a zoo mom. Yeah, when every jacket is a fur coat. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Crazy Zoo. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the cult. It is whatever you want it to be, baby. It's a choose your own adventure, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight. You think about that one there. Welcome! You're just jealous, the man Topher. Chauncey has matching. Oh, mamas. She has such a big purse. She's so happy. And show everyone your purse. Your purse. Little baby girl. No free butts. No free butts. No free butts. Just jealous. I wore mine out. I totally forgot that I had matching pants with Chauncey's pajamas. I didn't even know. I'm sure I knew at one point whenever I bought them that I had the other ones. I've been missing out on the opportunity of matching with my dog for like a good... I bought them during the pandemic, so for like 5 years now. What is wrong with me? Failure as a Z-MILF. Failure. Failure. Sleek baby full of purpose and poise. Aw, do you hear that, Void? This is Mama Cat. That's their mom. They can't be latching on titties no more. So she's in my bedroom decompressing. She's doing well. She was a little sad the first few days in Heidi, but she's being much more social now. I love her little curly tail. It always does a perfect question mark. She is so shiny. Motherhood looks good on her. She wears it well.
She is really like very sleek and shiny though. It's interesting now that she's had a good diet for so long. I think I told you guys that she was solid, like completely solid black, when she first came in, and she was, but she's having little, just barely existing white splotches come out. She has a slight star. She has like random white hairs, a little splotch over here. Oh, now it's food time. Little splotch on the side. She's so cute. Part marsupial. She can hang by that tail. I should take a picture of my dad's cat Simon the next time I go over there to show you guys. He has the longest tail I've ever seen. And when he walks, he holds it sideways and like behind himself and like kind of lets it drag like a monkey. He has a monkey tail. It's quite interesting. I've never seen a cat hold his tail like that or have it that long. It's wild. Yeah, like a Swiffer. Love you, Mama. I'll have to take a picture next time I'm at my dad's to show you guys. I love you, babies. Oh, Daisy's still knocked out on the floor, like she fell asleep from too much candy and popcorn. Hi, Charlie. If Chauncey and I match, we're super cool, okay? Doesn't get any cooler than this. God damn it. Yo. 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 I mean, ignore the hoodie portion, but yo. Does not get any cooler than this. Unless Pippi was matching too. But that's okay. It's just a horror movie and pizza night because she has her spooky hoodie on. We match. What do you think? What are you thinking? We matchy. Look. I'm you. I'm you. I'm you. We matchy. We matchy. Oh my goodness. Okay. 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 You're so silly and wild. Oh my goodness. You guys are getting down with it. You're getting down with it. So super cool. Hey, get some. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chauncey and I match. We're super cute. Thank you. We appreciate you. I hope the day has been kind to you so far. Ignore the kangaroo pouch hoodie. It's an interesting look right now. We're gonna see how Zeke feels about it, but matching. We're matching. Pizza party, babies. Pizza party, babies. Thank you for supporting the Stream the Dreams Project. Thank you for being a part of the holidays. And thank you for being you. Jump in. You deserve to be carried for a while. You deserve a ride. You're wonderful. Chauncey. We matchy. We matchy. We matchy, matchy, matchy. Matchy, matchy, matchy. See, now I bet you're super jealous, the Mad Topher. You could match with Chauncey and I too. What was the brand for these? Pity Clothing Co. So if anyone has a Pibble and struggles to find clothes that fit them, they make clothes just for Pibbles. And they make, I think, pant and shirt sets, but I don't like pajama shirts. They just never fit me right in their adult sizes. Like pants, you can make work even if they're big. You know, not so much like long sleeve shirts that are supposed to be fitted. It's super cool. It's a look. It's a concept. It's a theory. It's a wonderful existence to match one's dog. There we go. Should take him out for a walk with the matching outfits on. Yes. We would be the coolest kids on the block. It just can't be wet out because those pajamas they're not like outdoor material. They're indoor material. So they get like super wet really quick. I have to take it off him before he goes out in the snow, otherwise he'll be a soggy boy. Zeke, we gotta find out if you like the hoodie. The hoodie. The hoodie. There it is. Chaos. Chaos everywhere. Zeke.
You gonna try it? You gonna try it? You gonna try it? You gonna see how this works? Yes. I have faith in you. You can do it. I need chapstick. Meow. Where'd my chapstick go? Meow. And look, these are chapping. You gonna try it? You gonna try it? Here we go. You wanna come in? I don't know how I initiate this. Do I just let him climb in? Will he do it? Kid will. But he doesn't know what this is yet. You gonna try it? Hello. Oh, well that works. Oh, hell yeah! What do you think? Here, I was holding the hoodie like this before, so he was a little bit more supported. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you like it? I gotta get you boys some treats. That's why Boy is freaking out. He heard the sound. He wants treats. It worked. Maybe he wants to get down. Let's give him a moment to think about it. To consider his options here. Oh, no, not at the moment. I had him in my giant Wu-Tang hoodie earlier and scooped him up with it, and he was fine with it there. He felt a little squirrely for it, too. I think he will like it. He just needs to get used to it. Because he was fine with it at first, then he was like, wait, no, this is weird. I think he just wants to be on my lap in a different way right now. And that's okay. Or maybe not even at all, because he's going to get down. We tried. I don't think I've ever put Voy on here. I wonder if he'll tolerate it. He might have been uncomfy inside. I feel like, this is for, like, kittens, too. Got their food. And it fits a little kid, but it might be a little too small for him. Need more room. With the French toast! Thank you, thank you. Gunther's gonna be so confused. His food just went off. This is going off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, wonderful. I gotta update the board. Oh my goodness. Go get some Eepies. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. This hoodie is so fuzzy. Holy cannoli. You're right up on our board here. Thank you so much again. I got some. Thank you, Cygenics. Thank you for supporting the Streams Dreams Project. Thank you for being your wonderful, amazing selves. Thank you for being a part of the holidays. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, they are freaking out. They said food now. Now. Now, mama. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to put us back to right. Well, we can see Zeke for this. So let's just leave it how it is for a minute. All right, I look ridiculous in this. I just had to try it. I had to try it. I couldn't help it. Leave it in here for some practice. Do I have a little sweater? Big giant sweater. This is what I was wearing earlier that I scooped him up in. So like he had room to be cushioned. Because this is large and in charge. I don't know what hoodies I have anywhere. This doesn't match and I don't really care. I'm wearing pizza pants. Like, who cares about anything at this point? None of it matters. Nothing else matters. Yeah, da 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 da. Treats, 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 treats. Cookies. I look ridiculous in this, says Serena while still wearing pizza pimple pants. Yep, and I'm gonna be wearing these all night until I go in with the babies, and then I'll be wearing my pants that I have for in the baby's room. Meow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Boys, say thank you. Say thank you. Gunther is eating his food. He is not here for the treat. He is here for the wet food. Holy fish! Holy fish! There he goes. Say thank you. Say thank you. Express your gratitudes. Have the gratitude attitude. I'm so proud of you for tolerating that for a minute. We can practice with it more. I think you would like it. I think so. Oh, did Gunther just come in? He did. Gunther. You don't like these. Gunther does, though. Hold on, Boyan. Okay. No, that's for baby Gun. I have one of those. Do you want to try it and see if you like it? You didn't like it before. You like it now? Okay, you like it now. Okay. There you go. You're like Gunther miss out. Can't just do him dirty like that. Oh my goodness. Can't miss out. Silly boy. Welcome, Baron. How you doing tonight? Boy is so polite. The trifecta. He has such good manners. He's such a sweet boy. He's such a sweet boy. Thank you all so much for supporting the Stream the Dreams Project and the holidays. Oh. I'm going to up count and Genix, you get to choose a kitty. Who are you claiming? Who are you claiming? I'm gonna make a star for get some. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna flip our camera over. Audio. Do audio things. Light's gonna fall. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. 17%. Okay. We're almost too far. We made it. We made it. Lights are dying on the tripod though. Whoop. Little slug, I choose you. He is yours. I was trying to find him yesterday because he had found a new hiding spot. And I was calling him Little Slug, or calling out Little Slug. Where is the other cord? Oh, there it is. Plugs in at the base and the two lights. So it's redonkulous. He does like giving me panic attacks. He says, Mom, you're struggling and you don't know where I am? Here, let me not show you where I am. That's what he says. He is a silly guy. He is a silly guy. Where is the slug? There the boy. There the boy. Stuck on little mustache Charlie. The matching outfits are fabulous. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. It's just the simple joys in life. The simple little joys in life. The little things in life. Like, compared to the two big dogs, Chauncey, he's a little thing in life now. He's always been a small dog, but now he's like an even smaller dog.
out here. A stall, and we need a tag for Kiddo Kitten. Lo quiero. Like yo quiero, but lo quiero. I wonder how much these would be now. They were $4.19 when my grandpa would have bought them. When was the last time you saw something for something dollar amount plus 19 cents? I think you guys, someone said something about pennies being eliminated, I think within the last couple of months. When I was at the store today, there's a sign at Target where they have a penny shortage, and they're gonna round up to the nearest dollar or cent or something. I should have taken a picture of the sign. If it comes out to a penny point that they can't cash out to you for. I didn't think the penny would go away, but I think you guys are right about that. Whoever brought it up. It was in Tired Girl hours, so I remember the concept, but not the practice. Kid is claimed. Kid is claimed. I feel like 19 cents is an odd amount for like the second amount. Really? The penny's been kind of eliminated in Canada? That's interesting. I didn't think it would go away. I thought the nickel maybe. Same thing with the dollar bill and the $5 bill. It's interesting. It's cost more to make a penny than the face value of a penny for like 50 years. Dang. Why wouldn't we just figure this out 50 years ago instead of making all of us go through it now? We're all struggling enough anyway. Come on now. That's redonkulous. I never knew that. I always used to get excited when I would get a, what is it, a hay penny or a wheat penny? I like those. I have a whole bunch of those. I don't think they're worth anything, but the 1 cent that they are. But they're still cool. People in America like falling for $4.99, not costing $5. Yes, that's true. Isn't that an interesting brain trick? And we all know it, but we all still fall for it too. I'm no better than corporate America with it though, because I price my things something 99. Because I know that's how everyone's brain works. Why fight the system? If you can't beat them, join them. Oh, that 9/10 of a cent really like bothered me when I was a kid. I was never able to make sense of it. And I still kind of can't. It's still pretty stupid, but I kind of understand it now. Kind of. I just didn't understand why they couldn't just round up. I still can't, but I'm done trying to figure out the world. I'm over it. Kind of, mostly, usually. Boy, are you hungry, boy? Hungry boy. Hungry boy. But, I found the button. I was looking for it. For some reason, it got to the other side of my desk, which I don't understand. I did clean my desk yesterday, too, though, which felt so good. It makes sense again. It's not insanity again. The desk and the kitchen island just take the brunt of everything throughout the week. They really do. It's redonkulous. It's just like the $4.99 thing to make the prices seem lower without making it much lower. That is true. That's how it was explained to me, but it's I don't know. I guess I've just been so highly intelligent from a young age. You can't fool me. I will question your numbers. Heard a former Treasury guy on the radio saying they've been trying to get rid of the penny since the 90s, but it takes Congress to act, so it never happened until recently. Dang. I mean, I guess it hasn't been like a huge priority. Makes sense. We've had other troubles in the world, but I don't know. It was interesting to see it instead of just hearing about it. There's a penny shortage. Like, what? What is happening here? What is happening here? What is going on? We fix our count. Thank you all so much. You wonderful humans. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you all being part of the Stream the Dreams project. Giving support for the holidays. I'm excited. Sometime around New Year's stream, we'll go through CACC's wish list, because they don't accept monetary donations, and we'll look at what they need the most. They usually post on Instagram, and then you guys can shop through their wish list from there. You want a martingale collar? You get a martingale collar. Dang, we went to double digits tonight. 10 subs donate. Thank you. Thank you. I also tried to switch over to a dollar coin because the paper dollar is so fragile. I have a bunch of dollar coins, like the gold dollar coin, or the half dollar and whole dollar, like big coins. I'm curious which one was supposed to be, I guess, like the standard. I would guess the gold dollar coin. The paper dollar is very fragile, though. Aren't euros like coated in plastic or something like that, so they're not quite so fragile? I have a dollar coin. It's interesting. Is it used a lot, or is paper dollar used more, or is the paper dollar gone? I have a whole collection of half dollars. They're cool. They're neat. My dad liked to collect coins, so I inevitably got like included in the hobby growing up. And I don't actively do it anymore, but I have my collections. The Susan B. Is that the gold one? I should know, but I haven't looked at any of this in so long. Oh, that's different? What's on the gold dollar? I thought there was like an eagle on it or something. There's different ones, I guess. This doesn't make sense to me right now. I'm too tired. Oh, switch over tab. Here, with our minds combined. With our minds combined. The euros are a weird shape. I've never felt a euro. Giggity. There was a giggity somewhere in there, I think. It don't fit in your wallet. Boo! So you need specialized wallets if is there a difference in wallet manufacture? Are wallets bigger? Deeper pockets. Ah, the paper dollar was eliminated then. Even the $2 one is a coin. That's really neat. I'd like to see a $2 coin. I wish $2 bills were still a big thing, and they're not. I have a couple from my grandpa that I'll never get rid of. You're special. I used to keep one of them in my wallet. But then I think 1 year before conventions, I was super nervous for whatever reason. I took it out. This is the one that I was thinking of, the Sacagawea one. I've seen the most, but I guess there's other ones. I don't know. I know nothing. Oh, I thought that was Amex. I was like, why is Amex selling coins? But then... this one I don't feel like I've seen. Wallets are taller, I assume, in Europe. That's interesting. Look up the Canadian toonie. That verbiage sounds suspicious. Is that actually what the currency is called? Loonies and toonies? I feel like I've seen this one in like collections that my dad has, but when my grandpa would give me gold dollars, it was always this one. I don't know. My grandpa would collect all of his change throughout the week from shopping, and then I would be over there, well, I guess through the 2 weeks, because I would be over there every other weekend. I spent one weekend with my godparents, then I would spend another weekend with, at my grandparents. And he would collect his change through the week and then make me a treasure hunt. So I would be able to, he would have me sort his coins, and there would be always a gold dollar at the bottom of it. And I would sort out each of them and count it up and get the gold dollar and be able to keep the coins too. I don't know if that was like a lesson in math or like a lesson in organization or a lesson, I don't know what that was a lesson in, or if I was just being given coins because that's cute and nice to do. But that was very sweet of him. But there's always a treasure at the bottom. But gold dollar. But like, what was the point of like counting it or like sorting it? Maybe it was just to keep me busy, because I would always do that during like while they were making dinner. So maybe it was just to keep me busy, to amuse me. I don't know. But I have to sort all the coins, and then separate them into dollars, and then count them, and then tell Grandpa the total, and then I could keep it. It's an interesting one. Loony because it has a loon, like a bird. And toonie because it's a two. No way! I thought you were pulling my leg with that. Yeah, let's bring back bartering and trading, honestly. That'd be nice. A lesson in being loved. I like that. Gold will always have value. But bartering and trading would be a better system. Then inevitably people would barter and trade with gold too, so it doesn't eliminate it from the process. I don't know even how to search that. Currency dollars? A wiki of pictures? Yes. I believe I've already donated to... I don't want to be reminded. I have already donated to Wikipedia this year. Thank you. Do, 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 do. The penny, the nickel, 10 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, dollar, and $2. Wait, I think I have some of these. I didn't know they were dollars. I have a couple of Canadian coins, and I have a couple of coins from Honduras, I think, when my dad's ex-girlfriend went on vacation. I think I do have some of these. When would they have been first put into circulation? 96. Makes sense. They're kind of pretty. These feel like prize coins. 2012, the Canadian government announced that the 1 cent coin would be retired. It's incredible. Well, you'll learn something new every day. Big stretch. Big stretch. What's that, boss man? It's bedtime. It's bedtime. AP girl. Good night. Good night, Club Colt. Just kidding. I'm gonna feed the zoo beebs. Go to make dinner. Gotta make sure everything is clean and tidy for the night. Lots of things. It's been an interesting week. But I'm grateful for you all being... My phone just likes falling lately. Being a part of all of the chaos, willingly even. Like, damn, that is impressive. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being used. Thank you for choosing the coolest pizza pants and jammies to match the dog ever. Oh my goodness. Lived in a town that was near a fort that had a command and general staff college on it for the foreign officers. Come to your computer shop to get their stuff worked on and collect $1 from them. Aw. That is really neat. I had them displayed on a wall in the front of the shop, and it burned down from some dude crashing through the front of the shop. Oh my god! That's crazy. People be making some crazy choices out there. My goodness golly. Can't do that. Pizza pants party! I don't have any pizza though. Can't even remember the last time I had pizza. Oh my god. Hi baby. Baby, baby, baby. Baby, baby, baby. You're an eye boogie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think everything's where I want it to be. Alright, Beebs. It is time for the eeps. My brain is off. This has been an exhausting timeline. Holy cannoli. I don't mean to complain, just objectively. It's been an interesting timeline. I'd like to feel rested. That would be nice. It's too stressful to get good sleep. I just want the babies to feel better. Be able to sleep then. Not just because of, like, lack of mess, because of medicine, but I'll stop being scared that, like, everything is the end of the world. Like, constantly reassure myself, like, they're eating, they're playing, they're okay. They just have upset tummies. It's okay. Aw, thank you, Cygenix. Thank you, Midnight Dynamite, for the smooches for the beebs. And thank you, Cygenix, for the well wishes for good eeps. Appreciate it. Cross fingers and paws for that. Maybe the pants will be a good omen. You know, not like physically getting a cheese coma, but the pants will. They will. Oh my god, I can't even do words anymore. That's how tired I am. They will. What's another word for beckon to? They will incite. There we go. They will universally incite the concept of a cheese coma. My brain is done. It is cooked. It is fried. All I can do is baby talk and say, "Oh my goodness, you're so cute," for the rest of the night. Thank you for the jammy stream. Oh, anytime. Anytime. Pitbull pants on Thursday. I don't know. Maybe. I make no promises. It was the first letter of the week that I could think of with a P. Fingers crossed for unshitted pants. I do not want to have to dip Bath Daisy tonight. But if we have to, we have to. But that's okay. I'm just glad we didn't have to do it on stream this evening. I'm a bit relieved for that. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I do know that she was terrified of the bathtub, so it's fair. It's fair. It just feels so bad. She can't help it, and she's so fluffy. But she can't help it. Okay, boss man. Okay. Okay. I'm working on it. My brain's just really, really tired and slow tonight. Yes. We're eepy. We're eepy. We're eepy. I just feel like I've thunk so many thoughts that I can't think any thoughts anymore. It's like my brain is a maze, and all the lines have been connected for all the neurons, and it's already been there, done that, and it's just saying, okay, I've had it for the day. Mr. Bean, you're in the middle of everything. Don't mute. Can you not mute me, please? He's gonna mute me and I won't realize it because I'm exhausted. You make your choices. But we're not gonna sit on the keyboard. Oh, we're not gonna do that either. Oh my god, babe. I am so tired. Why did you do that? You can't sit on the keyboard because we gotta be able to get things done. It's scratchy. You scritchied. You reached out with your backy nails. I don't think it's actually bad, but it's very sensitive skin. That was uncomfortable. I am exhausted, my dude. Can we not do sillies right now? I hear you. I hear you. He is the enforcer. Mentally tired is the best time to cry. This is the point of life that I become a super big crybaby. And we just gotta get to the point of sleep before we do that. Thank you all for a wonderful night, Club Cult. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being your wonderful selves. Thank you for wearing the pants with me. And thank you all more than anything for your time. Your time is very valuable. Please do not ever forget that. You can make more money. You can make more friends. You can make more scissors. You can make more Sharpies, which the two of them match somehow, almost. But you cannot make more time. And thank you so much for yours. You're wonderful, wonderful human beings. If you'd like to keep up with me offline, hop into the Disky Boo. Otherwise, we have the fun stuff, socials, the more fun stuff, and sketch for when I will see you bebs next. Thank you all for being a part of the stream, the Dreams Project. I'm using up every last brain cell right now. And thank you all for your support with the holidays. Ow! I appreciate yous. I appreciate yous oh so muchos. Oh so muchos. Do me one favor before I see you next, and that is remember that you are wonderful, amazing, incredible, spectacular, phenomenal, all the good things in the world, and oh so gorgeous. Take all those compliments and put them in your... Do these have pockets? Oh, they don't. Butt pocket? No. Put them in your back pocket, your side pocket, your cute little hoodie pocket, your adorable little shirt pocket, floating in suspended animation, wherever it needs to go. Until I see you next, you sweet bubbos. Have a beautiful rest of your night. Get some good sleep. I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. And thank you again all so much for bebopping around with the zoo with me tonight. It was a fun little tour through the house. Got to smooch on everybody, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Get some good sleepies tonight, and I shall see you all for next one.